Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Barasham, Yahushai, Barasham, Acha, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutation to all your sincere Akiam that are pushing this gospel in all the folk of the earth, in all righteousness and all sincerity. So what you have here is, here's going to be a response to the apostle, to Ariam last video. And I'm not going to title it a response to accept no man, rather a carnal priesthood versus a spiritual priesthood, because this video was going into basically the Sikari leader called himself High Priest Alazar going off, all right, because he was talking about how he is the high priest of the nation of Israel, which of course is going off, talking about how the apostle Tahar should retire, even though the apostle doesn't call himself high priest anymore, right? No, he doesn't sit in any office of a high priest, but he should retire from what I don't know. Okay, because I might be speaking out of turn, but that's not. I just want to so okay. What I'm saying is that I don't really have all the information. Rather, all I know is that the apostle Taha isn't really calling himself a high priest. Isn't calling himself a high priest anymore. Whether he still does, or I don't even know what duties that of a high priest that he would be doing that would cause this individual high priest Alazar to say the things that he's saying, okay? Because all the apostle does is what he goes out to the highways and byways. He does the blessings, he does the videos, he does the sit downs. He preaches, he prophesies. Which of course that the office of a prophet is an eternal office, even transcending lifetimes. Okay, you can't be a prophet just in one lifetime. It is continuous. After all, it's not written that the spirit of a prophet is subject to the prophets. So even if the apostle gets over 50, even if he dies, he comes back, he still does it again, because that is the job. All right, we are in this thing literally to the end. Okay, not just the end of our lives, but the end of this earth age, unto the destruction of this kingdom. Because, and of course, this won't happen. But if, we have to come back again in our lots in this kingdom, we'll still come back again as prophets, still come back again prophesying the downfall and the destruction of this kingdom. So there is no retirement plan for, there's no retirement plan. That's a lesson right there. There's no retirement plan for the prophets, man, because we are in this for eternity, okay? Up until the kingdom, of course. But even in the kingdom, we will still be prophets, because we will be priests, and that's when the priesthood will actually be fulfilled. Right? That's when you can start talking about how you're a high priest and you're a high priest and you're a high priest, because all Israel will be high priests in the kingdom. After all, it's not written that we will become a nation of kings and priests, and even in the kingdom, we will still be prophets. We will still be prophesying, teaching the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because a man that speaks, because prophecy isn't just going into saying before or speaking about things that will come to pass, but rather speaking about the works and the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Because that is basically what the prophecy is. The testimony of Yahweh Shai, that is prophecy. So when you are teaching Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that is that's basically you prophesying. So the office that the Apostle Tahar holds right now isn't the office of a high priest, rather the office of a prophet. And we already know that office is an eternal office, okay? So basically, the notice just be adding my 2 cents to the statement that Alazar made concerning the apostles, concerning the high priesthood, concerning him being the sitting high priest of the nation of Israel, which is, if I play, which is, going off if you are being nice about it. But in all honesty, it's tantamount to blasphemy, all right? Because you should understand that there's only one high priest. There's only one high priest right now that stands in Israel. And that is the high priest, or rather the priesthood of Yahweh Shai. Yeah, because and I was watching different brothers' videos and different brothers' takes on this. But all the brothers would agree that right now, that the sitting priest right now is Yahweh Shai and nobody else, okay? Because there's no longer a high priest based on carnality, high priesthood based on, the so I forgot how it goes. Either the Aaronic, the priesthood of Aaron is no longer in effect. It has been basically, what sarcasm. Like I just let the apostle Paul explain this. Then because it doesn't, you explain it better than I ever can. All right, because all right, let me just bring it out in the book of Hebrews, the seventh chapter. Because this is the first precept that come into your mind when you heard, Lazar make his statements. And I didn't couldn't I can't I'm not really going to play the statement because I actually re-uploaded that video so you can watch it for yourself. But this is the first preset that should come to your mind when Alazar made these statements, because this breaks down the current priesthood that we are under, because we're no longer under. And let me just bring that out. Let me just bring it out. So this is the book of Hebrews 7, and I'll start from verse 5. And verily, they that are the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. But he whose descent is not counted from them received received tithes of Abraham and blessed him that had the promises. And basically, this is going into Yahushai. Which of course I should probably start from the top, to explain that, because the Apostle Paul is explaining here and proving that reincarnation is biblical by telling you that Melchizedek is the same individual as Yahushai. And Yahushua is coming in that same spirit once again, in that same spirit of being a priest of the Most High, without having to come from the line of Levi, without having to be, from that from that bloodline of priests. In other words, the line of Aaron, which would be the line of the priests. So this is the book of Hebrews 7 verse 1, and it reads, "For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Power, who met Abraham, returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him." And the precept for this is in the book of Genesis 14:17 to 20. And if you remember the story, Abraham's cousin, I believe, Lot, was kidnapped, and Abraham had to go and save his cousin by slaughtering the people and slaughter the people that kidnapped him. Roughly paraphrasing, I think it was the Canaanites. So from verse 2 now, to whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, because that is what the name Melchizedek actually means. Malak Tazadak, king of righteousness. And after that, also king of Salem, Malak Shalom, because the word Salem just means, is the same word as Shalom, means peace. So Malak Shalom, Malak Shalom or Malak Shalawam, whichever one you want to use, which is king of peace. I mean, that is speaking of Yahushai, because Yahushai is called the Prince of Peace. Without father or without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of the Most High, abideth a priest continually. So he's telling you that the Yahushai is an eternal priest. He has an eternal priesthood. So now it begs the question. So now the Apostle Paul makes that comparison between the priesthood of the Levites and the priesthood of Yahushai, because what Alazar is being on, what the brother Alazar is being on is the priesthood of the Levites, which is a carnal priesthood, all right? An imperfect priesthood. But Yahushua represents an eternal priesthood. And this is the reason right here why they say that the Apostle Paul went off, because they want that honor. They want that honor from men. They want to be given all these fancy names, high priest, grand publa. That's what the apostles usually call him whenever they speak about him, because this is what he wants. He wants to have that grand title, the high priest of Israel. The same thing with ISUPK, the grand general. General, that the second in command of Israel. Because these men, they all want this accolade. Okay, this what I'm looking for. This they want to be. Let me get that precept. Instead of confusing myself, I just bring out the precepts. This is what I want to say. This is what I want to bring out here. Alright, so this is the book of Matthew chapter 23, and I'll start from verse 1. Matthew 23 verse 1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to burn, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves do not move them with one of their fingers. This is going into the hypocrisy of a lot of these leaders that are in Israel. and even in among the two-thirds as well, which of course those all the hypocrite leaders would be of the two-thirds, but we just generalize it. Okay, I want to jump down a little bit to verse. Okay, yeah, from verse 5 now. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. All right, and that is, going into all these different Israelite camps. They do all these, the debates, okay, the fancy garments, okay, all for vanity, all to make a show out of this truth, okay, to they'll add gimmicks to this truth, to read the big, the names, right, the grand titles, all the different things, all the different methods these Hebrew, these other Israelite camps use in order to make themselves, okay, greater, which of course is not the purpose of this truth, because what we are doing in this truth is we're trying to big up the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, not our own names, okay. It doesn't matter if a brother doesn't remember your name, but if you did an excellent video and they're giving you props on it, they are praising you on doing an excellent video, defending the name of your Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, on praising the name of your Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Now that's better than if everybody in Israel knew your name. For it is far better for everybody in Israel to know the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai than for your name to spread among the brotherhood, right? Because that's what we're focused on. I focused on pushing the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Once again, the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And if I could continue this video just saying that, just saying Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, I would actually. But after I actually have a point I want to get to, so let me just get to that and stop talking about, and just for a second, say something else aside from the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, so now continuing on from verse 6 now, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in synagogues, and in greetings in the market, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Hamashiach, and all ye are brethren. And this doesn't mean that there won't be men that are above you, or men that have a higher position or a higher seat, than you, because that's not how it works, man. Everybody's giving their own measure of the Spirit, and everybody's given an office in this truth. But what this means rather is that what, like I said, the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai should be seen, should be pushed above all the other names, And even if you have a high seat in this street, man, you have to be like the apostles. You see how they are, man, humble as hell, They're not trying to make it known that they are apostles. In fact, that name they're not the ones that gave themselves that name. That's the damn thing, In this truth, all the elders, all the apostles, all the big brothers in Great Millstone, they are not the ones that give themselves the name, okay? The elder Manatas Akbar, the elder Malcolm, the elder Big God, the elder Yashawamba, and all the other elders I might be forgetting about, Khazak, the elder in North Carolina, so I forgot his name, and I remembered it, the elder in North Carolina, I forgot his name, Howard. These men they did not give themselves the name elders. But I just started calling them elders, and the apostles started calling them elders as well. That's how they got the title of elder. No brother in GMS, no person in Great Millstone gave themselves that title. It was men that started calling the apostles, okay? We did not give them that title. It was men that started calling the elder apostles the elders before they became apostles. Nobody gave them that. Nobody, they did not give themselves that title. And I believe, which of course I'm not sure about this, but I believe through the Spirit that when during the time that the apostle Taha was called high priest Taha, because he always talks about this, he always talks about it, how when he was back in One West, they called him the high priest Taha. I believe that they gave him that he was called that name, that he not give himself that name, okay? But you have men that give themselves names in these other camps, that give themselves titles in these other camps, Like for example, Al-Azhar, and now he wants to come up as, or rather be seen as, the chief high priest of of all of Israel. Was what he's the one that is, doing the duty of the high priest, which which of course I wouldn't know. I would be I wouldn't know how he would be able to do that in this time. But this is what you are seeing happening with these other Israelite camps. When they're not coming, they're not even trying to be humble with it. They're being super carnal with it. They want to be seen of men as great, That's why he goes. That's why he goes to these debates, man, because he wants to be seen as the master teacher, the number one. That's what all these Israelite camps are after. They want to be seen as the number one. And Great Wisdom are just out here trying to do this work. Is already being seen as number one by everybody, you know. We're not the ones calling ourselves the best camp out there. We're not the ones that are saying that we have 100% truth anymore. You know, because there was a time that we did say that we had 100% truth, which of course is the 100% truth. Okay, but we're not doing that anymore because these people that are out here, Sarnetta TV, even Vocal Malone, you know, he's already they are already saying that we have the 100% truth, that we're the most diligent camp out there, that we're always on point with everything. We're no longer in a place where we even have to say, you know, that we are the ones that have it anymore, because all these people out here that they're already speaking for us. You know, our works speak for itself. So I want to get this preset as well. Let me see whether it's actually here. Because what the scriptures say that any man that exalted himself shall be abased. Let me get that. All right, the book of Matthew 23, verse 12, and it reads, "And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." All right, that's basically how you should be. You know, this is a lesson in humility, okay? A lesson not to be carnal, because that's what the carnal mind is about. It's about pride, having that pride. That's just because, you know, the Most High has shared with you a little bit of His wisdom, you know, which was given to you by the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. The same, you know, other apostle Tahar that is coming against is the same man that taught him this truth, man. You know, biting the hand that feeds him. By the way, let me just go down to this word abased. This is the word right here, abased. Tapeino. Tapeino.
Strong's G 5013. Tapainao.
Okay.
Tapainao.
Tapainao. And it reads, to make low, bring low. To level, reduce to a plane. Metaphor, to bring into a humble condition, reduce to meaner circumstances. To assign a lower rank or place to. And that's basically what will happen to a lot of these men that are bigging themselves up as some kind of master teachers. You know, they had that they had that demon on them, you know, of carnality, right? Because, you know, if you don't humble yourself right now, you better get humble before, you know, how about Shmi or Shai does it for you, okay? Because it's not the right spirit to. Because it's not the right. These men are not in the right spirit. You know, they are thinking about the priesthood of the Levites, which of course you already know that that priesthood, if you want to be a Levitical priest, of course that's not going off, but it does not apply, you know, in this time anymore. Because thanks to Yahweh's sacrifice, and I've actually done videos on this. A multitude of brothers have done videos on this as well. We no longer have to we no longer have to depend on the priesthood of Aaron, okay, the Aaronic priesthood, in order to be, in order for our sins to be delivered, in order for us to be able to atone for our, atone for going off to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But Yahushai, laid his life on the altar for his sins first. Let me get that precept. Let me see if I can find that precept. I think that's in the same book of Hebrews. Oh yeah, it is. So okay, yeah, that here it is. So I'm back in the book of Hebrews, chapter 7. And let me look for where I want to start from. Okay, here it is. So it's out of Hebrews 7, verse 22. By so much was Yahushai made a surety of a better testament. So it's telling that what? The priesthood that the high priest Alazar pushes is worse than, or is, or isn't as good as the priesthood that Yahushua is coming in, the priesthood that we are supposed to be in right now, because Yahushua came with a better priesthood, right? Because the Levitical priesthood was, like more like a carnal priesthood. I won't say that, it was going off, or it was, I won't say anything bad about it, because there was nothing actually bad about it, because you go into the history, all right, it was we the people, okay, us the Israelites, that failed, to keep the laws perfectly. So a better covenant, a better priesthood had to be made in order to, in order for us to be able to, in order for us to be able to atone for our wickedness. And that's the reason why Yahushua came down on the earth, because the Yahushua's priesthood is far better, all right, and far more preferred than with the Levitical priesthood. And I read, and this Hebrew, the seventh chapter, is a good precept to go into to understand all that. So let me just finish up with this. So from verse 23 now. And they truly were many priests, because they were not far to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continueth ever, hath an unchangeable priesthood. Wherefore he is able to save them to the uttermost that come unto the Most High by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. And the question you have to ask yourself now is that if the current high priest who needs somebody that can save you from your sins, okay, need somebody that can make intercession for you to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Can a carnal high priest do that? Can Alazar do that? Okay, even the apostle Taha can't do that. All right, only Yahweh can do that. Only Yahweh can make intercession. Because what, as the scripture says, he is, he is the mediator. He's the ultimate mediator. I'm trying to get how he goes, but basically, he's the ultimate mediator, between us and the Most High. So continuing from verse 26 now. For such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who needeth not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself. So Yahushua is a perfect priest because he no longer needs to offer up sins for himself as well. Okay, because he already done all that, and you have to ask yourself this: does this high priest Alazar believe that he is sinless? Does he believe that he is without sin? Because you already know what the scriptures say about that. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to get concerning that. Don't be a part of this carnal priesthood, right? Especially with this man, this whole thing that is going on with our people right now in these other camps, just waxing worse and worse. Just bringing out more damnable heresies. So with that, let's give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yawashai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the spirit that we Akimayu Akwat were edified. Shalom.